Got Your Back Pod Stream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at MrDirk.com.
Did anybody else think that there could be some offensive fireworks tonight? I don't know. I was not expecting a 2-1 lock-it-down game between the Oilers and the Tampa Bay Lightning, but that's what we got tonight, and the Oilers did a better job of locking it down. Another great performance from Stuart Skinner, who wasn't biting on Nikita Kucherov and that misdirection. Welcome to Got Your Back, folks. Ryan Rishaug from TSN. Jason Strudwick joining us as well. Steve Taylor at the controls, and Rob Brown is going to check in as soon as he finishes up the post-game show on 880 Chad. Struds, as always, our show brought to you by our great title sponsor, Play Alberta, buddy.
Why choose Play Alberta? Just ask any hockey fan who loves odds boosts, player props, and same game parlays. Or slot players who love the massive jackpots. For lottery players who can grab last-minute tickets on the go. Deposit today and get a $50 free bet with code GYB12. Visit playalberta.ca.
And I am coming at you from the mobile Adrenaline Diesel studio, safely on a headset on my way home tonight, being careful on the roads. But Adrenaline Diesel's mobile studio.
If you need a part manufactured, replicated, repaired, Adrenaline Diesel has got you covered with their brand new machine shop. Visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
You got it. You almost botched it. You totally redeemed yourself at the end, pal.
Smooth.
Yeah. Hey, Steve-O.
Yeah.
And again, we're live, so these kinds of things happen. Is it just me, or are we dealing with a pretty nasty delay between Struds and I?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a lag right now. I'm going to try and fix it, see what I can do here. Carry on in the meantime.
Okay, no problem. Hey, that happens sometimes when we are live streaming. Do you need one of us to hop out and hop back in, or do you think we're doing? Okay?
No, stick with it for now. I'll let you know.
Okay, we'll hang in there for now. All right, good stuff. Welcome to the show, everybody. Struds, how was the day, my friend? How you doing, buddy?
Good. Well, more importantly, how was your day? I've heard some rumors that for someone who's always given me a hard time about being seconds late, when you changed the time of the show, you had an issue this morning.
Yeah. Wasn't ideal. Haven't done this in a long time, buddy, but just absolutely 100% forgot to set an alarm to get up and do the Ray and Dregs hockey podcast. And then it was an absolute nightmare because Zuby, who was at the controls, thought it would be funny to call and wake me up and then record the whole damn thing with those donkeys sitting there on the call as well. So it was a bit of a nightmare, and then I got lambasted on the show. So yeah, I think Steve.
I've got it. Let's listen to Schauger waking up this morning.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, are we doing this or what?
Yep.
Get your pork chop out and comb your hair, and let's chop.
Yep. I'll hop in on video in 3 minutes, Zuby.
No video, please. No video.
Give me a minute.
Wow.
Zuby, you're a bad man.
So bad, Struds. Like just amateur hour. Total frickin' amateur hour, bud.
So you give me a hard time when you change the time of the show and then I'm like minutes late and you sleep through. Do you know what happens when you sleep through and you're on an NHL team? You get sent to the minors, bud. That's where you go.
I probably deserve it. Well, you know what? After doing the Ray and Drags big national show, a really high-end show, great production value, huge sponsors, I kind of feel like I'm in the minors tonight. So, yeah, I'm back in the minors tonight working with a regional guy, Struds, you.
Right? Yeah. No, but a big regional guy.
Hey, did you end up doing something with the Overdrive fellas tonight?
Yeah, they jumped. They called in. Those guys, they do it once a year. They do the panel for a Leafs game, and so they had me jump in on the Quizmaster. And I just said, I'm like, I thought I was promised Cheryl Pander was going to be here. It's just, and then I answered a question about McDavid signing back in Edmonton. But it was like I was on for I think it was like 70 seconds or something. But yeah, it was fun. And actually, Leafs had a pretty good game.
Yeah, no, for sure they did. Nice goal from Austin Matthews to win it. But that's good. I'm glad they have you on. Like you're not a regular. You're more like kind of a novelty item, just like a little clown nose. They reach out and honk every month or two. But it's great, Struddy. We're building towards something, buddy. We're building.
Yeah. Well, they like it. They like what they see on that one time when I come in. Right. That's once a month I jump in there, and the summer.
All right, buddy. Yeah, exactly. So much to talk about in tonight's game, though, because this was a really good performance from the Oilers. I talked about it out of the opening there that wasn't necessarily expecting that, little offense generated, but the Oilers had a lot to do with what Tampa wasn't able to get done tonight offensive. Just a really good performance. So, Struds, my friend, let's get to the breakdown brought to you by our good friends over at the Alberta Ram Dealers.
The Drive It Home holiday event is here. Get up to $13,600 in total discounts on a 2024 Ram 1500 DT Laramie Crew Cab. See your local Ram dealer today.
All right, so a 2-1 win. Vasilevsky, I thought, was really good in this game. Stuart Skinner probably didn't have to be as good, but was really steady against Strud. So we started the other night with Skinner. Yeah. 5 games in a row, I believe, where he's less than 3 goals against. So he's 2 goals or less against. Really rounding into form. And though he might not have necessarily been the full story tonight, the fact that he played the way he did again and the momentum continues to build, that's kind of where my instinct is to start tonight. Just another excellent performance from the Oilers starting netminder.
Yeah, the winner of the Relentless Player of the Game last game might be in the running tonight. What I like about Stu is he looks very calm, and that's when he's at his best. And I don't know if every goalie's like that, but when he's all over the net and busy and very active, it just I think it's a harder game. He just looks very, very calm and organized out there, and that's when he's at his best because I think that's his personality. You see him, you see him every day, you talk to him, but you see him interviewed, you see him around. He's just a calm guy. And I think when he's calm and his game is calm, I do think it impacts how he plays, but also it impacts specifically the D-men around him.
Yeah, and Chris Knobloch mentioning again post-game today when we was asked about Skinner, just he's playing easy. And really feeling like whether it was the pressure of trying to build off of last year or whether it was the pressure of, Team Canada expectations, whatever it was, he just really feels like he's playing easy right now. And, you can't help but wonder if maybe a bit of a weight comes off. Certainly there's disappointment there, but there's also has to be a weight that comes off. And for goaltenders, Struds, like it's so much of it is a mental game. And as much as Skinner pays attention to all the little details and we probably consider a pretty mentally tough, athlete, he's still going to ride these ups and downs and these experience that he's going through. And another really solid performance on a night where you're playing against the coach on the team that didn't take you against one of the best goaltenders on the planet at the other end.
Yeah, and those are 2 huge things, and they're a good team, right? So you've got the coach, you've got the goalie that was widely acknowledged as one of the best in the world. And he stood tall and he looked very calm doing it. So I think this is important for Stu. And he was asked post game about, how he feels his game has evolved from a year ago when they played Tampa and it didn't go quite so well. And he went on growing as I've grown as a man, a father, and a player. And think of all he's been through in 1 year. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. For sure, it's a lot. And do we have a clip from Skinner, Steve-O?
Yeah, we do. Yep. You want to hear that now?
All right. Yeah, go ahead and roll it. We'll do the Weiss Johnson stuff after. Go ahead and roll Skinner tonight post game.
All righty. Oops. Sorry. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's always fun, like just being able to play in this league. So it's pretty cool. But to be honest, I mean, yeah, for sure. Like, I think it brings a certain amount of energy and amount of focus too, just because it's, you're going up against big teams. It kind of tells you where we are as a team when it comes to playing, tight games. Like, you're up by 1 goal. You got to kind of snuff out a team for the last, 20 minutes. How are we going to be able to do it? So a lot of lessons learned and a lot of moments like that where we're going to be able to, see what we're capable of.
Yeah, and that question was about the caliber of competition that the Oilers have coming up here. I mean, they got some really good teams, and these are great challenges. And Skinner is facing these teams head on, and he's getting good results. And he continues to build momentum. Where do you want to take it next, Struds? Do you want to take it overall defensive game, or you want to go maybe Darnell Nurse? What do you want to do?
I think we got to go to Darnell. I mean, Darnell had a great game tonight, and he's been playing very, very well. What I saw, and there's a lot of things he did well today, and I'm sure we'll get to his influence on the goals. But, there was a couple times today where he used his speed and then his strength to just bully someone off the puck and just take it and just strip them and just skate away. And, these are NHL players, and Tampa's known as a pretty, fast, but, heavy on their stick, hard team to play against. And he did one time right behind his net. He just went around, just lifted the guy's stick, pushed the guy's body, lifted the stick, took the puck, stripped, went the other way, and it was gone. It was like he was playing against a 10-year-old. And so, he is so confident right now. And his floor, as far as I think that one of the challenges Darnell's had is that he can have a really high-end game, but his bottom, where those massive mistakes happen that are kind of what I'd call unforced errors, and those aren't there right now. And so now you're just left with the upper crust, right, which is so good with Darnell. He really is dialed in on that part and making a massive difference for himself and his not selfish, but personally his own little world and his own little game.
Yeah, he's been so good, and he's been real easygoing too. Let's get to the Weiss Johnson soundbox, Struds, because there was some interesting post-game sound. Leon Draisaitl, our podcast is called Got Your Back. You want to talk about having a guy's back. Listen to the way Leon Draisaitl had Darnell Nurse's back, but let's get to the Weiss Johnson soundbox. Struds?
Yeah, get your home holiday ready with Weiss Johnson. With any new furnace installed before Christmas, they're offering free duct cleaning. Whether your old furnace has given up or you're just looking to upgrade for a cozier holiday, they've got you covered, and your ducts too. Visit WeissJohnson.com for more details. Hit it.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
So we'll play a clip from Leon Draisaitl where he's got Darnell Nurse's back, kind of takes a swipe at the media, which is always funny. And then we took that and went to Darnell to see what he thought. So play him back-to-back here, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, you guys should talk about him more. He's been really, really, really good, like high end, and you guys are really hard on him sometimes, and so he's been amazing. Maybe our best D for a while now, and it's fun to see, and he's such a horse, and you can't beat him off the rush, and obviously when he makes plays like that and settles the puck down and makes strong plays, it's fun to watch.
Leon said that we should talk about you more and not be so hard on you. He kind of gave it to us a bit.
I appreciate that from him, actually. I don't know. Sometimes I like to go and I don't really have social media and stuff, but sometimes I like to go and read what everyone says in here, and then I get to come see you all the next day. So I don't know. Say whatever you want.
Been a little better this year, though.
Yeah, a little better. I mean, that's gotta keep playing, I guess.
Wow. Like Struds, we are a long way away from that day during the LA series where he walked in, gave us three-word answers, and walked out pissed. because he didn't like what was being written and what was being said. So I don't know, man. It's a chicken and egg thing, right? You play good and you get better press. But at the same time, when you're not all, probably easier to relax and play well. But I thought that was a funny interaction. And hey, good on Draisaitl.
Hey, you got to look after your buddies, right? And you got to pop them up. But I mean, I was so happy the Oilers drafted Leon Draisaitl. He's a very proud guy. He works hard. He's a true professional. And, you know, I think that he obviously recognized that his game wasn't where he wanted to be at the end of last year, because he's kind of talked about this year, just, you know, come in and make sure he plays at a high level. And he has. You know, it's obviously the start when you don't get to do much in training camp, it's a little bit tricky, but it wasn't like everybody was killing it that first week or two. But, you know, since that point, he's been a driving force for the Oilers, and he's been very, very good. And he should feel good when he goes and talks to the media, or when people talk about him. I'm not sure really what are you looking to beat up on him for? He's doing more than his share. And you look at today, he set up both goals today, right? He was a big part in both goals today for the Edmonton Oilers, in a really tight checking game both ways.
Yeah, for sure. We got Rob Brown checking in now. He's finished his post-game show. Brownie, I'm going to give you the heads up. We're dealing with a little bit of a delay. So in order not to be stepping all over each other's toes, just when you guys finish your comment, hand it off to whoever you want to talk next, and then that'll make it easy till our delay gets cleaned up. Brownie, what did you think of what Draisaitl had to say about Nurse? Coming to his defense a little, and then Nurse having some fun with it.
Well, actually, I haven't heard it. We hadn't put it on our show yet, so okay. I do not know what happened, and I'm going to pass this off to my buddy Strud.
Good start, Brownie. Basically, Brownie, what happened here is Leon Draisaitl was like, you guys should talk about him more. You're really hard on him a lot. You know, he's been arguably our best defenseman. He kind of took a shot at the media for being hard on Darnell, and then Darnell had a laugh about it. But bottom line here, Brownie, we've all seen it. It's been a lot looser, more relaxed Darnell Nurse, frankly, on the ice and off the ice in front of the cameras this year.
Well, and it's because he's playing well. He's confident. When we saw Darnell at his best, he had swagger. And to have swagger, things got to be going well for you both on and off the ice. Darnell, he understood he wasn't as good as he could have been last year. And this year he came with a renewed attitude. He's been excellent most nights. He's led the Oilers in ice time on the back end. He's been solid both ends of the ice. To me, I mean, one of my favorite lines I've ever heard was last year when the Oilers were struggling and they asked Darnell if he reads social media, and he says, well, I know that if there's a backup or a traffic jam on the Anthony Henday, I'm getting blamed for it. So they do read social media. So they about them. And I think right now it's a lot quieter on our shows about Darnell Nurse, and it should be. Darnell Nurse has been excellent all season long.
Yeah. What'd you like in particular about the game tonight? You talk about the defensive plays, but I mean, he's in on both goals for the Oilers too. Didn't get an assist, but like he was all over it.
Yeah, let's start with the Draisaitl goal. He gets the puck, strips it, and just has poise in the middle of the ice where there's a lot going on, and he just finds Leon and makes a great pass. Leon, it's a really nice pickup. I don't think we should. That was not an easy pass to pick up on his backhand, but he picks it up. Then Leon does, and he gets a little bit lucky. But that the poise to make that play through the middle after stripping someone, it's not easy, because the D-man, you go from, I'm a hard defenseman now to all of a sudden I'm going to throw a nice floater up the ice for a breakaway for my buddy. So that was a great transition there by Darnell, and not everyone has the ability to make both those plays in the same play.
Brownie.
Well, you know what I like about Darnell? What I like about Darnell now, when a defenseman is feeling it, and Darnell is right now, he knows exactly how much time he has to make a play. And on that one there, Darnell got the puck, he brought it to the middle and finds the right outlet and makes the perfect play. In the past with Darnell, there's been times where under pressure he just threw the puck away. just threw it away and let it's someone else's problem. Or there was the times where he tried to hold on too long. Okay, I got to find the perfect play. I need to make the play. And as he holds on too long, eventually either the passing lane gets closed down or they knock him off the puck. But when you're playing with confidence, you know, I'm not throwing it away quickly, but I'm going to make sure I make the right play in a timely fashion. It's like a quarterback knowing when he's going to get sacked and moving the puck at the right time. I think that's what you're seeing right now with Nurse. You're not seeing him throw the puck away ever, and you're not seeing him hold on too long and make hope plays or try to force things. Everything is on a stick, head up, bang, I'm making the play. So to me, it's all confidence for Darnell Nurse right now. All confidence. He's got a ton of it, and it's showing in the way he's playing.
Brownie, Struds and I kind of started, we talked about Skinner already. I want to talk about the overall kind of defensive game that the Oilers played tonight, because Tampa, obviously they've got a lot of pop offensively, though they were missing Surly tonight. But that's a team that they can hurt you offensively. What did you make of the job that the Oilers did in limiting a team that generally can be pretty creative on most nights?
I thought they were excellent. I thought the Oilers didn't allow the Kucherov line to control play. There was very few shifts where that line had intense pressure, where there was chaos in the Oilers zone. Kucherov, there was two plays that his line had. One was Bouchard gave the puck away on a really poor decision by Bouchard, and the other was Ekholm turning the puck over. The Oilers' number one pairing turned the puck over twice, and those were the only chances that Kucherov's line had. For the rest of the night, they were quiet. And in the third period, I like that Knobloch talked about it, they were holding on a one goal lead against a very good Tampa team with some top-end talent, and they limited what Tampa did in the third period. There had been other games this year against teams not as good as Tampa, where the Oilers was helter-skelter. Not tonight. So I thought the Oilers excellent defensively, and Struds, I think this might have been one of their most complete defensive games that we saw when you look at the competition they were playing against.
Yeah, that's for sure. And they're going to need to do this more often. But this game tonight, this reminded me of what we saw. I don't know where I want to start it, but let's say 20 games to go last year and then into the playoffs, where they were disciplined. They didn't give up a lot. In the first period, the Oilers were all over Tampa. Like, they think about the goal that was called back when an Ekholm hammered that. I love when they just forecheck a team right into the ground. And then you wear them down. There's players changing, your offensive zone, trying to get them in and out. And they wore those guys down and they grinded. Now they didn't get rewarded because of the offside, which I can't believe we're calling it. You can barely see it in real time. But anyways, they had a plan and they just kept going shift after shift after shift. And that is when I think of last year, and I know people want to talk about it, but that's the way that they played, relentless for that time and not giving up the big mistakes like Tampa. Like, how many Oilers breakaways they have tonight? Connor had 2, Leon had 2. I guess Kucherov had 1, but that's a pretty good defensive team where you're getting 4 or 5 breakaways on them. That's hard to call a good defensive team when you're giving up odd man rushes like that, Brownie.
I agree 100%. Vasilevsky gave the Tampa Bay Lightning an opportunity to get a point out of this game, because not only did they give up 4 breakaways, they gave up the 4 breakaways to Leon and Connor. Like, it's not like, okay, some fourth line dude just slipped behind us, we weren't really paying attention to him, and you got a breakaway. It's the 2 best players in the world right now, and they give them 4 breakaways. So Tampa got away with some big mistakes, but at the end of the night, like in football, the team that turns over the ball more usually loses. In hockey, the team that makes the bigger mistakes usually loses. And tonight, I think the Tampa Bay Lightning made the bigger mistakes, and the Edmonton Oilers capitalized on 2 of them, and that was the difference in the game.
Really love the play that Leon Draisaitl made to Connor McDavid, Struds. I know it kind of seems like it was just a simple headman pass, but here's what I loved about it. When Draisaitl got the puck, McDavid was still completing his cut up ice. And was it just me, or did Leon Draisaitl hesitate just a touch more than most other players would, because it allowed McDavid to hit full stride, and then he led him beautifully with the pass? he could have passed that like a quarter second earlier, and he would have caught McDavid on the tail end of his turn up ice and maybe stalled him a little. He just delayed a touch, and it allowed McDavid to have the boosters in full thrust when he got the puck.
I would have put that on his skates. Like, it's the second I looked up and I saw him, I would have hammered it into his skates and said, buddy, get it, man. And he would have picked it up. Like, he still would have got it. But there was a touch to that pass. And I think for sure there's some hesitation. And that's what those great players do. They understand when to give someone the puck at the right time, or the rest of us just hammered into an area. Everything's an area pass to guys like myself. So I think that was a really, really good pickup, Shogger, but a really nice, just patient play that allowed Connor enough time just to squeeze through those guys. And to his credit, Connor just skated with the puck in front of him. He didn't pull it to the side. He skated with in front, so he just kind of weave his way between those two D.
Yeah. What'd you
Can I
think
say something on that one, Shogger?
Yeah, of course.
So on that play, so the hesitation Leon makes. So when Leon gets the puck there, all eyes are on Leon. So all Tampa Bay Lightning players are watching Leon. So when Connor's on the ice, they're not watching him. Leon hesitating forces the defender in the middle. It was McDonough that was the highest guy. He hesitated, and he got his feet stuck in the mud because he saw Leon hesitated. Okay, it's a dead play right now. So when Connor got the puck, he's going full blast, and he's got 3 Tampa Bay Lightning guys frozen because Leon hesitated just enough to freeze them. And now Connor, who doesn't need a head start at all, got a big head start. Once Leon hesitated, it was going to be a breakaway for Connor McDavid. There was nothing the Tampa Bay Lightning defenders could do because at that point they were frozen.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, guys, I'm just getting home, so I'm going to hop in. Struds, can you guys, a little bit of a curveball here. I don't want you to do the YouTube poll yet because that's going to be part of the subject of the takeaway segment. The subject of the poll. So grab Relentless player, but also Struds, there's a little more games that you grab post games. If you guys want to run a couple more clips and do Relentless player, I'll check back in a couple minutes.
You got it, buddy. Let's do it. Sounds good. All right, let's get to another clip here we have, Brownie, and I thought this was a really good one. This is Darnell Nurse talking about Stuart Skinner. Hit it.
And so good for us in key moments, I think. Obviously, there's been, for us, it feels like our game is coming and the tide's turning a little bit. And, he's such a big part of that. It's not just this year so far. You look at last year and his contribution to our team and how huge he is for us. And it's fun to watch.
Brownie, I was having this conversation with someone today. What has turned to make the Oilers the team they are now? So, let's highlight it. Nurse's play. We'll go with Skinner's play, the PK, maybe the overall team defense. Like, what was there something that came before the others, or is it all kind of a coincidence? They're all coming together. Like, what? How do you say this was the one that set everything in motion, or is there one?
I don't know if there's one. I think A, they're playing with confidence. I think B, they're finding different ways to beat you. They're not just trying to outscore mistakes. They're not needing a goaltender to steal a game for them. I think they're getting contributions up and down the lineup. And now contributions isn't always just offensive play. The big block shot by Kapanen late in the third period, that's a huge play. And I'm glad the Oilers faithful in the arena understood it with huge applause. That's a big block at a big time. They're getting big saves. Second period, Skinner makes an unbelievable save, point blank, to keep the game tied. So I don't know if there's just one thing. I think right now the Oilers are finding ways to win, and they're playing smart hockey. Throw in another one you can throw in two, Struds, discipline. This Oilers team doesn't take a lot of penalties. And in the past, this Oilers team would get frustrated. They take silly penalties. They put their penalty killing under tons of pressure. They keep their best players off the ice for extended times. They don't take penalties at all anymore. So I think everything right now the Oilers are doing, they're doing it well. And that's trouble for the rest of the National Hockey League because this team, the Oilers, have found their way.
I like that. That's really well said. All right, this I'm going off the board here with my Relentless player. So let's get to it. Brought to you by UCAN Youth Services, an Edmonton charity that's relentless in providing possibility for the youth in our community. Mental health is the foundation for growth and success and the key to thriving, not just surviving. With 2 in-house counselors providing free therapy sessions, our youth have support while they navigate their struggles and rediscover their strength. Visit ucan.ca to donate today. So, Brownie, I am going with this for the Relentless player. I'm going to go with the entire team and their approach to defending today. Not the defense, not the forwards, just the whole group defending against Tampa. I don't know. I mean, I off the top of my head, were there 5, 6, 7, 8 good scoring chances by Tampa Bay in the whole game? And that's a team that has some high-end talent when you look at Kucherov, Gensel, Point, Hedman, all these types of players.
Yeah, I agree. I think this was the best 60 minutes they put together defensively all season long. When you look at who they're playing against, not only is Tampa the talent they have, Tampa is coming in playing really well. So it's not like they caught Tampa in a stretch where they're struggling. And the Oilers made 2 big mistakes, and the Tampa Bay Lightning got a breakaway and a goal out of it. And then there's the one shot from the slot. There's a mix-up from behind the net. But other than that, Tampa never had control of this game. They never took over. They weren't pressuring the Oilers where the Oilers were, stuck in their own zone for 30, 40 seconds. This was a good from top to bottom, from little plays from Corey Perry, one draws from Derek Ryan, block shots from Kapanen. Like all of the players at some point in this game did something that was a positive defensively. So yeah, that's a great point by giving the entire team. That was a good defensive effort.
Hammered it. All right, let's dip out here quickly. When we come back, Shagar will rejoin us, and we'll get into takeaways here on Got Your Back.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at sequelandentistry.com.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
Is brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf, your one-stop shop for all things snow removal. With the end of the year approaching, they are clearing out their Arians walk-behind snow blowers. Save up to $718 on in-stock walk-behind snow blowers and be ready to tackle whatever Mother Nature throws at us this winter. Visit your local Horizon Ag and Turf dealership today. I was out front with the blower, the steel blower. That snow was nice and light today, fellas. The blower took care of that thing, no problem at all.
Steel. I like how you said that. Steel. You made fun of me for saying that's how you say it. You made fun of me for saying it.
You showed me the way. There are sponsors. They want everything pronounced perfectly, and that is the correct pronunciation. So you were right, Struds.
There you go.
Picking up more from the game tonight, Brownie, you had talked the other night about the second line needing to contribute. And there's been a lot of discussion about, with Arvidsson out, how that line has looked, the fact that Skinner's not there. Podkolzin, we've talked about a ton on this show. I wonder what you saw from Kapanen tonight, and do you think that maybe parts of his game have, revealed themselves a little bit, and he's maybe finding something? I don't mean as a full-time top six player, but is there more there than maybe we had originally thought?
I think he's a National Hockey League player. I like his speed. I like his braveness, standing in front of a big Edmund's shot and blocking a shot, understanding what he needs to do to stay in the NHL. Again, the second line got production on an own goal tonight, so it's not as though they're kicking a number of pucks in the net. That second line, I still don't know if Captain's around when everyone is healthy. I don't know what the Oilers are going to do, but I do believe he has been a nice pickup for the Oilers while they've had some injuries. I think he's a smart hockey player that doesn't put them in a bad position defensively. He always makes the right spot. I think he's just miscast right now as a second line right winger because I don't think he has the offensive pedigree right now. But he certainly is smart defensively, and you're not putting yourself into trouble when he's on the ice.
I'd be interested to see what they do because he's a good player. Like, I don't want to say he's a great player, but it's nice to have good players around for depth if and when there are injuries. So, can they sneak him back down to the minors or not just into the minors, or do they keep him up here? Does another injury happen so he can hang around? Like, it's just nice to have that depth kicking around. So it's just hard to see them being here if Arvidsson comes back.
Depth and speed too, Struds. That's the one thing that he brings is he's got really nice wheels, really nice shot. Like, he took a really nice shot tonight. I mean, I know that Vasilevsky handled it, but I liked the shot he took. Skates fast, not afraid to finish a check. Like, there's nice bones there for a bottom six player. Plus, he's getting some looks on the penalty kill. So you can't help but wonder if, there isn't a usable player there longer term, but he does need waivers. And if he continues to play well, I'm not 100% certain that he clears through waivers and that someone else doesn't grab him and give him a bit of a look. I want to focus in on the blue line again here, guys, and this is going to be the subject of our DeBoer's YouTube poll, brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center, helping you play better golf since 1999 with their TrackMan fitting bays, instruction, after-sales support, golf merchandise, and clothing. Go down and check out their pro shop-style atmosphere located at 5311 99th Street here in Edmonton. Steve, give us the options on the poll tonight, buddy, and I think it's a discussion point we need to have.
Alrighty, so the question is, who will be the Oilers' second pairing at playoff time? Will it be Nurse and Kulak, Nurse and a new guy, Nurse and Emberson, or someone else?
Okay, so the reason why I think this question is relevant, gentlemen, is because Brett Kulak continues to give them really good minutes. So 21-29 he played tonight, 1946 at even strength. The guy is laying down minutes on the right side like a second pairing blue liner. Does it adjust the thinking of Oiler management as to what they need to target at the deadline? Does Kulak doing this, Struds, buy them the opportunity to maybe not feel like they need to find a 3 or a 4, but that finding a 4 or a 5 might be okay? Maybe are they looking for a third pairing left guy to replace Kulak, or are they looking for a second pairing right shot guy to play next to Nurse? And how much has Kulak changed that conversation?
Well, he's changed it for sure. I mean, he is in there and he's playing well. He skates so well, and he's playoff tested. You look at since he's come to Edmonton, how many playoff games has he played? He's played a ton. Right? Now, he doesn't have the Stanley Cup ring, but he's got everything except that, right? He's got multiple trips deep in the playoffs. So this is what I believe to be true. I think that they can go to the market and look at it and say, we've got a guy that can do the job. Can we find a guy that's maybe a better suited, and we leave, and then it gives us flexibility to have some depth with him and Kulak. And it can also look so we need a left or a right shot guy. They can go either way. So now they pretty much look at everything, and their strike zone just got a lot bigger, Brownie, as far as what they'll swing at, rather than the very specific, targeted second line right shot D-men.
Well, I personally think you want to get a number 4 to play with Darnell Nurse. And the reason why, if you move Kulak into that position and you get a number 5 or a 6 to play with Emberson, if someone in your top 4 gets hurt, all of a sudden, that guy you brought in as a number 5 or Emberson is moving up in the depth chart. Whereas if you bring in a number 4 and someone in your top 4 is getting hurt, now you got Kulak moving up there, who you know can play in your top 4. So I think their first goal would be to get a top 4 defenseman if they can make it work financially and they can make it work with whatever assets they have to give up. Because then you've got more depth. Because now you have Kulak in a third pairing being able to move up because of injuries. So that's why I would like a number 4 to play with Nurse. And this, just think how much stronger you are. You can find a player that is good enough to play in your top 4, and you have Kulak in your third pairing. Wow, that's a much tougher defense to play against than having Emerson and brought-in guy who's not good enough to be in your top 4. So that's just my thought on it. But I do believe Kulak has proven with flying colors that he's capable of not only playing as a top 4, but playing and excelling as a top 4 defenseman.
Yeah. Well, what caliber of a number 4 guy do you bring in over on the right side? And that maybe is part of the discussion point too, Struds, because if you want to go bigger game hunting or you want to try and really make a splash, the assets on the way out are going to be pretty significant, right? And the Oilers are a team that have given up a lot of assets over the last number of years. So is management going to be able to talk itself into, you know what? Yeah, 4-5, you're giving up seconds instead of first. You're giving, you're not scraping the cupboards bare. Kulak's been real good. Like, do you talk yourself into it, or do you got to stay the course and go, no, like to Brownie's point, bring in the highest end player you can, because if you run into injuries, you got to be able to withstand that.
I just think it depends what you can get. Like, you have to tell me the player, right? Like, it's like Savard out of Montreal. It doesn't really interest me at all.
Yeah.
I just don't see that as he's physical, and you'd be happy, Shogger. It'd be hits galore all over the place, right? He'd just be running guys. But I don't think he fits the pattern that is required, a guy that can play and be physical and make some passes. Like, I really think they cannot go cheap on someone that can move the puck. I don't want small, though, either. I want someone who's big enough, take up space, and make passes. So I'm kind of specific with my shopping list. So, you start looking around what could be available, what could you get? I don't know that it's going to be that easy. They paid a lot for Ekholm. This works out great. This works out so well. Is there another guy out there they can go and get that makes as much sense on a team? There's still a lot of teams fighting. I know we talked about Nick Jensen. I think I really like Nick Jensen. Smaller, though. So when you get to the heavy lifting in the finals, look at the last few years. How many small defensemen, smallish, have won Stanley Cups?
Well, and like, what if you could find a guy that, you knew just based on who he is, he'd be a good fit in the room. Maybe a little more defensive minded in nature, right? A natural right shot, bigger body though, takes up some space, can kill penalties. Maybe not like the most offensive player, but just solid in the room, decent defender, kills penalties, right shot. Not a great puck mover, but not bad, Struds. Like, doesn't necessarily hurt you night in, night out. But what would you think of a player along those lines? And are you catching what I'm laying down here, buddy?
Are you talking Cody Ceci?
Well, I'm just saying, like, yeah, I'm not saying they go get him again, but my point is like, did you need to trade him in the first place so you could accrue a bunch of cap space so that you can go get a player just like Cody Ceci at the deadline?
Yeah, no, I don't know, Brownie.
Is the player going to be that much better than Ceci that they end up going to get, you think? Kind of needs to be, doesn't it?
Better?
Well, I think it needs to be better than Cody Ceci because you gave up Cody Ceci. So if it'd be kind of silly if you got someone that's about the same as Cody and you're like, well, we already had a guy that everyone liked and he was part of our team that went to the finals last year. So I just think if they can make it work and get a top 4 guy, that's what they want to do. But as Strud said, it's not going to be easy. The assets are, the Oilers don't have a whole lot of assets. And if there's a bidding war amongst teams, I think they're going to be outbid simply because the other teams will have more to give up. The Oilers just don't have a whole lot left in their cupboard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we'll see which way it ends up going. But would like to know your thoughts. Lots of people are chiming in. Neil Garrity says they should be aiming higher. CC is a lightning rod for bad puck luck, says Davin. CC, no thanks, says the Deutschland Dangler. You can't bring back CC, says Stephen Petrick. I'm not saying that the Oilers are going to bring back Cody. Just saying it'll be really interesting to see the caliber of defenseman that they add, and you compare that to kind of what they had in a known commodity in Cody CC and where they land on this whole thing. I do think that they need to aim higher than that, and I think that they probably will, but executing it and getting it done and the amount of assets that have to go out, Struds, it can be tricky. Like it'll be tricky for them.
I just saw a comment here from Noel Rinsky. He says, this is the same talk about Kulak last couple of years. Even Struds wanted Kulak traded. Then the Oilers would have had to acquire Kulak at the deadline. Let me, there it is right there. Let me be clear. It's not that I wanted to trade him because I didn't like him. I wanted to trade him because that is what would have given Broberg a space to play. That's what happened. You needed to give this guy a way into the lineup. You're not moving Ekholm, not moving Nurse. So that is why it's not that I don't like Kulak. I really like Kulak, but to give a young player, you got to give him space to play. And there's no space for him to play. That's why I was moving Kulak out, not because I didn't like him. I really like Kulak as a player.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Well, and the fact that Kulak has been so much more comfortable moving to the right side is a game changer. Like it wasn't really happening before. And there didn't seem to be a real lot of momentum to have him move over there and stay over there. It just wasn't. And now all of a sudden he's playing over there regularly, and he's looking good over there. I can't help but wonder if the Oiler gun sights are slightly recalibrated on what they might be looking for. I don't know the answer. And we'll see by trade deadline. Maybe this whole thing will have shifted to a degree by the time the trade deadline comes around. Brownie, are you home yet, buddy?
I'm sitting in my driveway.
Okay, why don't you hop off and head inside, my friend, and then we'll get Struddy's World and Brownie Points done from the home studio if you're okay with that. You good with that, pal?
Sounds good.
All right, we'll chat with you in just a minute. All right, that was Takeaways brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. Struddy, well, we have a bit of time to kill here waiting for Brownie. Let's get to the scoreboard, buddy. It was a pretty busy night and lots of games going on and some meaningful to the Oilers. Our scoreboard is brought to you by Canadian Club in honor of the founding year of the Canadian Club Distillery, 1858. The all-new CC Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at 58%. Their highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date, a full-bodied whiskey, aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and rich oak with a butterscotch finish that is so smooth. As always, enjoy responsibly. That is Canadian Club. Struds, what else was happening out there, my man?
Well, there was a pretty big game between the Flames and the Preds. The Preds have just been struggling like crazy, and the Preds lose. Huberdeau scores a power play goal near the end of the game to get the Flames that 4-3 win. The Preds continue their losing ways. I don't know, man. There's got to be something's got to give there. I don't know. They can't trade away their stud defenseman, so maybe they'll have to do something else. This bad boy just ended. The Blues beat Vancouver 4-3. Buckle up, Oilers fans. A minute 40 into overtime, Dylan Holloway scores to win. So this guy is on fire. Dylan Holloway, that's 10th goal of the year already. Playing in overtime. He was part of it the other night when they were playing the Calgary Flames, I think. So Schauger, that's a hard one for the Oilers fans to swallow.
I mean, it just is what it is. And make no mistake, Oiler fan, he was ready to do all of this as a member of the Edmonton Oilers. This isn't a situation where he needed a second organization to go find his game. Dylan Holloway was poised to do this all along. He's just doing it for someone else. Twisting.
And last one,
6
wins in a row now for the LA Kings. 3-1, they beat the Islanders. Kempney has a goal and assist in that one. Kings are rolling. Kings are absolutely rolling. And like this Pacific Division doesn't get really any easier, right? You got Vegas, they always seem to play well. You got the Kings playing well. Vancouver picks up the point. The Flames get 2 points tonight. And the Oilers get a point tonight or 2 points tonight as well. So it's tight in there. It's quite a bit of competition in that division.
Are we getting to Winnipeg, Boston in taking a lap tonight? Is that on your list?
Well, we can. Yeah, that's probably where I was going to go.
Okay, let's hold it. If you didn't see what happened in the Winnipeg-Boston game tonight, she was a bit of a Donnybrook and some interesting things happened. So we'll get to that in our Taking a Lap segment coming up. But that was our scoreboard brought to you by Canadian Club. Quick break. On the other side, Struddy's World and Brownie Points. Lots of shows still ahead here on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
So at Timber, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy. Gotta look good.
Time now for Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. They got locations in Calgary and Edmonton. Whether you're a homeowner, contractor, or a builder, DLR is the most reliable source for vinyl fence. Unmatched service, high-quality North American-made products. Visit dlrvinylproducts.ca. What do we got tonight, Struds?
So tonight after the game, Chris Knobloch talked about, he believes adversity is important for individuals and for teams to grow. And let's just look at this game compared to the game against St. Louis. They always had things going pretty well. And then to start the third period, St. Louis came out with a hard push. And I didn't think the Oilers managed that very well. They were kind of, I don't know if surprised the right word, but they just weren't up or equal to the task of matching the intensity that St. Louis was going to bring. Well, tonight, for pretty much the whole game, the Oilers were consistent in their effort and in what they delivered defensively. And they didn't give up a ton of great chances, over a course of 3-4 minutes, right? Like we saw against St. Louis in that first 5 to 10 minutes, that third period. So adversity helps you grow. I think, not that they'll never learn or have that issue again, but I love how you just saw it change from game A to game B over the course of 3 days, boys.
An attentive group for sure. Hey, Brownie, like they got way away from it last year. Not as much this year, but they're an attentive group and they have learned to self-correct, I think, more efficiently.
Yeah, I agree. They adapt, and I think that's part with the coaching staff and part with the players. But I think the biggest thing, and Strudge used the word early in that, and we've heard it out of their dressing room, is consistency. This Oiler team has played much more consistent over this last stretch. They're getting consistency on their penalty kill. They're getting consistency in net. Their superstars are scoring with consistency. The defensive effort has been consistent. So this is a team that is moving in the right direction. And again, we talked about everyone saying this is a Tampa Bay, and this week is a measuring stick for the Oilers. But I believe that all these teams are coming in, and the Oilers are a measuring stick for them. Because I think the Oilers are on top of their game right now. Tampa came in to say, okay, how are we facing a good team like Edmonton? Minnesota will, Florida will, Vegas will. So I think the Oilers have now become the measuring stick for other teams to come see how they stack up against a very good Oiler team right now.
Yeah, Leon Draisaitl was kind of interesting post-game. He was asked about the quality of competition that they're facing here, and he said, he kind of made that point too. At first he said, we want to be a team that's viewed that way, and then he said, we are a team that's viewed that way. He almost corrected himself, like as if to say, no, we are. Yeah. Now, Struds, I would agree with him last year, the tail end of the last half of the season, and certainly in the playoffs. I mean, they were the best team in the league, quite frankly, if one of the best anyways. I don't know that there's been a point in the season this year where I would have put them anywhere near in that same echelon as what they finished the season at last year during the regular season. There was a lot of change. I don't think this team has functioned like a top-end elite team for a big chunk of this season. But and even though they're having some injuries right now, Struds, it does feel like they're starting to function like a top-end team again, much like we saw for a lot of last year.
So what's the top-end team like? Top what? Top how many teams would you say?
Oh, I don't know, 5-6 in the league, right? Among the teams wherever you go, people are like, ooh, we're in one tonight. I don't think the Oilers have been viewed that way for most of this season, but I think they're getting there now.
So I would disagree. I think that they haven't played that way, but I think when you roll into town, I think people are like, okay, we could really get embarrassed here. I think there's a fear factor in the way that teams view them. But I think that the way they're playing recently, and recently could be whatever, a few weeks, and the parts of the game that are coming around, they're getting very hard to play against. And tonight they just looked like a team that was very comfortable playing a defensive style and taking advantage of opportunities when they needed to. They weren't forcing things that weren't there. They were forechecking great. Especially teams, I don't know that was really a big issue tonight, but that is what I see of this team. And that is a team that knows this is how we have to play and we're going to win, Brownie.
Yeah, they're a top 5 team in the league to me. I can't see more than 4 teams being better than the Oilers right now and haven't been for the last, 12, 14 games. I think they're at that level. They are. They're getting goaltending and they have the 2 best players in the world. So to me, I'm hard-pressed to see anyone in the Western Conference who I feel is a better team than the Oilers right now. I think there might be some equals. I think Vegas and them are very close. I think now that Colorado's got some goaltending, very close. Dallas, close. Minnesota, they're beat up right now, but it'll give them a
Winnipeg,
good. I don't know. I don't think. Yeah, but Winnipeg, they've fallen off though. I mean, that's a team that went 3-7 in a 10-game stretch, and then out east. Toronto. Is that the best team in the East? Florida,
Washington.
So, and that still shocks me to be able to say Washington.
For sure.
Yet we're 25, 26 games in, and they're still there. But yeah, to me, the Oilers now are top 5 in the National Hockey League, and I do believe that these teams are coming in. They're testing themselves against a good Oiler team.
That was Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. Quick random hit stats of the day, gentlemen. We continue to harp on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Edmonton Oilers decided it was a good idea to throw a hit tonight. So 1/3 of the lineup decided to throw a hit. Would it surprise you, Brownie, to know that Connor McDavid has gone 8 games without throwing a single body check?
The Oilers have been pretty good in those 8 games, though, haven't they?
I know.
So, we're going to talk about that in my little segment here, just so you know.
Oh, I like it. All right, let's get to Brownie Points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. There's the music, Steve. Hamel's world-famous jerky, located right here in Alberta using prime Alberta beef. Their jerky is available in 14 tantalizing flavors, including the famous sweet and spicy jerky that went to the ISS. In operation since 1962, it's a great game day snack, can be shipped to you anywhere in Alberta. Hop onto albertajerky.com, order yours, and enter the code GOTYOURBACK for an additional 10% off. Brownie, let's hand out a reasonable and measured, budgeted amount of brownie points.
Well,
no billions tonight.
I got the email. I have been told that my Brownie Point bank account has been frozen and that I will be getting an allowance each week. So I was allowed 40 today. So here we go. Here's my 40. I'm going to start with 18 Brownie Points to the Northern Star winner, Summer McIntosh, voted Canada's best athlete. To me, 3 golds at the Olympics and a silver. This was a no-brainer. If there's ever been a unanimous decision on the athlete of the year in Canada, and we got some fantastic athletes, but this was a no-brainer. Summer McIntosh, good for the 18-year-old swimmer. I got two Brownie Points to Colorado Avalanche Chris McFarland. The general manager decided, you know what? We've got a really good team. We got one of the best in the world in McKinnon. We got Rantanen. We got Makar. We're good. Our goaltenders can't make a save. So we're not going to get rid of one of our goalies. We're going to get rid of 2 of our goalies. So Chris McFarland over the last 3 weeks or 2 weeks has traded both his goalies for 2 new goalies. Wedgwood, the backup that is going to be the backup, he started twice and got 2 wins so far for the Colorado Avalanche. Good on Chris McFarland. I got 3 brownie points for Stuart Skinner. This was a low event game by the Tampa Bay Lightning, but there were 3 saves tonight in this hockey game. There was one in the second period, bang play from behind the net where Tampa could have taken the lead, big save. There was a Kucherov breakaway, and I love what Kucherov tried, but he didn't beat Stuart Skinner. He tried faking him out, but it didn't work. He made that save, and then he made a save right before the goal was disallowed at the end. He made a glove hand save that put the puck over the net. There was only 3 big saves that he needed in this game, but he gave him all 3 of them. He outdueled Vasilevsky, who will be Russia's starting goaltender, probably at the Four Nations Cup. I've got 9.25 brownie points for Darnell Nurse. He may never live up to the contract in the eyes of the fans, his $9.25 million. But if Darnell Nurse continues to play like he's playing right now, we're not going to be talking about his contract. We're going to be talking about an elite defenseman who has been outstanding all season long. In a lot of nights, he has been the Oilers' best defenseman. And again, tonight, he was excellent. And my last one, I've got 9 brownie points to the Edmonton Oilers, who played a great Tampa Bay team in a defensive effort that was a playoff-style game. This is the type of game you're going to see in the playoffs. And they were able to do it by only throwing 9 hits. It is shocking that this Oiler team can win against a very good Tampa team and only have to throw 9 hits. It must be an aberration that they were able to get through this game. But 9 brownie points to the Oilers' physicality in tonight's game.
Well, the league should revoke those points. Got to have 10 hits to win a game.
Oh,
10
yeah.
hit minimum.
You guys laugh. You guys mock. You guys go ahead and mock all you want. This will be all season long. We will talk about this. When the playoffs come, we'll see. We'll see where it goes and if they can just flip a switch and turn it on. And if they
went to Game 7 last year of the Stanley Cup Finals playing this way.
There's been a big drop-off in their physical play from last year.
Well, they don't have Evander Kane.
Yeah, that's a good point by you. We're not going to get into that again. We'll talk about it a ton for the rest of the year. But Brownie, good stuff, buddy. Thank you kindly. Appreciate it.
See you, buddy.
My pleasure. See you guys later.
All right, see you, pal. Noel Rinsky chiming in there with, I believe that's 1 quintillion brownie points for Zuby for the wake-up call today. Yes, Zuby, thank you for the wake-up call today, my friend. I see Growler Media Group is on the chat tonight. So Zuby is not running the board, but he is in the chat, getting feisty in there with everybody. All right, that was Struddy's World. That was brownie points. When we come back, we will take a lap. We got our core blue liner and ask us anything as well. We got a dynamite number on the stream tonight, Struds. So many people joining us live. We love it. Please send us your thoughts and your comments. Steve is grabbing those, and still lots of show still ahead.
With over 18 years in the industry, Kelly Zaretsky and her team at Blue Summit Accounting deliver client-focused solutions and financial guidance for success in a simple and comfortable way. Whether it's for corporate or personal needs, Blue Summit Accounting can help with taxes, estate planning, financial services, bookkeeping, and more. Get in touch today. Email bluesummitacct@gmail.com or call 780-416-9662.
All right, time now for our core blue liner, brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you're a small to medium-sized business, HSE Core has your back when it comes to health and safety compliance. From creating and managing a tailored health and safety program that meets all legislation and core requirements, HSE Core supports clients' operations every step of the way. Visit www.hsecor.com. That's hsecore.com for more information. And maybe more importantly, Struds, if you had the rematch yet with Tom, has he beat the wheels off you again since you last called him out?
Yeah, no, I got a pretty angry worded text from him regarding my calling him out.
What did he say?
He hasn't been there. I haven't been there. Like, we're missing each other, right? So I haven't had a chance. And I don't think this week it'll work out. So looks like he's going to get off the hook before Christmas.
Dude,
take
I
on the
literally could not.
What's that?
I could not have texted him fast enough when that show ended. Like, Struddy called you out. Struddy called you out.
Yeah, no, and he let me know, and like I said, I'm the 149th ranked tennis player in South Edmonton, and he's well above that, but he doesn't want a piece. So I'll just keep dodging him, or maybe he's dodging me. But yeah, I'll get the beating. He'll give me a beating at some point here. Don't worry.
I need details about it. I need details and maybe even video if possible. Who are we looking at tonight, buddy?
JJ Moser. This guy caught my eye when he was playing for Arizona. Now, the last couple of years in Arizona, watching them hasn't really been that much fun. But he got moved over in the big deal for between the two teams, Tampa and obviously Arizona, now Utah. And he's still, now he's on a pretty good team and he's having a really good year. He's on the right side of the goal share. He skates well, he moves well. You'd be surprised to hear he's from Switzerland. I didn't actually even know that. I thought he was American.
Yeah.
But what I like about him, when you watch the game tonight, he was beside both nets. He's beside his own net, and then often he's beside the Oilers net or behind the net. Like, he covers a lot of ground. And, listen, there's a lot of talented players and experienced players on that team. But man, does he move all over the ice, and he makes plays, and he just pops up. He's like where Waldo beside the net. So even in, there's different opportunities where, like, what are you doing down there? But he finds a way to contribute and get in there. So I think the one thing that maybe be a bit careful about is he doesn't produce a ton of points for how much he spends kind of moving around all over the ice, which is a bit of
risk
surprise.
Reward, right? Risk reward, that'll get old.
Yeah. So I think I don't know how many points does he have? 9 points so far in 25 games or something. So what is that? 30 points, whatever, something like that. And that's for that much time spent all over the ice. It's not a ton, but his goal share is really, really good. So, obviously it's working.
Interesting blue line that the Tampa Bay Lightning are icing right now. Like, it's just, I remember there was a day where, you'd look at that roster of theirs.
Oh, geez.
And you're just like, it was just thick right through the blue line. You were like, holy smokes. Like, these guys are like, wow, take a look at it. And then you run through their lineup tonight and it's just so different, right? Darren Radish is in there. Emil Lilleberg, Prebex is there. Mosier's there. Like, there are just some different names. It's a different era. Trading the D-man to Utah, Sergachev to Utah definitely changed the shape of things too. So there's opportunity there, and Mosier's one of these guys to slide in and try and grab it.
How about the hit Lilleberg delivered on Kulak? That might have been the hardest hit I've seen all year. Live. He absolutely, I don't think Kulak expected that. He's like, who was that? He looked up but no, JJ Moser's he's a good young player. Very, very mobile all over the ice. And that's kind of the way that the game is going right now, right? You have interchangeable players, especially in the offensive zone.
All right. That was Core Blue Liners, brought to you by HSE Core Services. Scott Terrace chiming in saying, I missed the start of the podcast, but I hope there was significant time spent on Stu. Yes, there was, Scott. There definitely was. It's where we started the show tonight. We both thought that Stuart Skinner was a big, big difference maker again in this game tonight. His game is really, really steady. Let's look around the league tonight, Struds. Let's see what else that was going on. Other stories happening as we take a couple of laps. Brought to you by Acon. They've got 150 years doing what they do, spearheading some of the most notable projects across Canada. They're one of Canada's original leaders in heavy industrial contracting, operating proudly here in Edmonton as well, and they're always looking for great people. Go to acon.com if you are looking for work, or if somebody you know is looking for work, send them the website, acon.com, and click on Join Our Team. They're always looking for great people and great workers to join their company. Struds, where do you want to go, buds?
I want to start with the Preds now. The Preds lost tonight, but this conversation happened this morning, and I want to get this right. So Andrew Burnett's the head coach of that team, and they are struggling. And he was asked if he'd ever healthy scratch any high-profile players. So he was speaking with Alex Dougherty of the Tennessee, and he says this: we could scratch every guy in our lineup, but unfortunately, we need players going. At different times, it for sure crosses your mind. But they have to earn it. You can't just do it to do it. If it's a false thing to do where you're trying to create something, players see right through that. And I thought that was a really good thing, because we've had that conversation here before, Shogger, about scratching players, right? Scratch Bouchard, scratch this guy, or scratch whatever. And it is a lot of thought goes into it. And what is the message you're trying to send? Or are you just trying to say, hey, I'm just going to do it to scare them? Like, there's got to be purpose and reason behind everything. Now, they lost again tonight, and I'm not saying the reason they won or lost isn't because they scratched guys, but I thought it was a really good quote about scratching players and the thought that goes behind it, rather than just, we got to get this guy out because we think he sucks.
You know, one of the other high-profile scratchings this year was Taylor Hall in Chicago, if you recall. And I remember when Hall was asked about it after the fact, and the thing that really surprised me was he said he didn't really see it coming. Like, there was no discussion about it, no heads up, no nothing, just boom, scratch. So, like, it can be an effective tool, Struds, but I mean, for today's athlete, man, that needs to be like the third of a 3-step program where it's going in the wrong direction as opposed to just boom out of the blue, doesn't it?
Yeah, you there's got to be a warning, and you can't blindside someone with it. You've got to say, okay, hey, this we need you to play this way, and to show video and talk. Okay, they maybe miss a couple shifts. And then if the message is still not being delivered and you feel strongly about that message not getting through, then you drop the bomb on him. So my eyebrows are really raised when, Taylor Hall said he didn't see it coming and no one told him. I'm like, what? Like that is, you don't treat a veteran player like that. Right. And I think that's one of the big challenges. To the action tonight, I saved this one. The Jets played Boston and laid an absolute thrashing on them, 8-1. Now the Bruins have been, kind of going better underneath Joe Sacco. But this game got rough. At one point, Scheifele carries the puck into the zone and they end up scoring off the play. But Zadorov, the big D-man from Boston, absolutely rocks him. His helmet goes flying off. And then we start having some skirmishes with, to me, the heavyweight championship was Adam Lowry versus Nikita Zadorov, the guy who hit Scheifele. And it was a good fight. Like, no one really landed anything made, but it was a good two big humans going at it. So there was, I'd think, 4 or 5 fights I counted. And then Joe Sacco, the coach, and Scott Arniel of the Jets were going at it, yelling on the bench. You don't often see coaches go at it.
Yeah.
But you know that things are getting heated when the coaches turn and they're yelling at each other over the glass.
Yeah, it was pretty, it was something. So David Gustafson got into a scrap with Trent Frederick, I believe. Mm-hmm. And Frederick dummied him. Like, he caught him. And Gustafson is not a scrapper. Frederick can handle himself. I don't think the Jets love that. That kicked off. The big D-man there, Logan Stanley, ended up going with Buddy Kastelik, who they brought in from Ottawa. Then Zadorov and Lowry end up squaring off. The Winnipeg Jets, with I think it was a 6-goal lead, put their top power play unit out on the ice late in that game to just absolutely pile on. The coaches are getting at each other. And I don't want to say I'm a professional lip reader, but I watched it a few times. I believe what Arniel is saying is, you can't talk to the players, you talk to me. You don't talk to them, you talk to me. So maybe, Buddy behind the bench was getting a little chirpy with the players, and that's when, because Arniel's he's a pretty chill dude. That's when they got into it. So bench has got to love that when your coach is right into it too.
Oh, you just after a win like that and your coach is fired up, you're all fired up. There's fights, you're just feeling good about yourself. Power play was 3 for 6. Like, you're coming in there hot as a pistol after that game. And you'd like to play a game like right away after. You just feel so good about things.
Awesome. Good stuff. All right. That was Taking a Lap, brought to you by our good friends over at Acon. 150 years they have in the construction industry. The good folks over at Acon. I've lost track of where we're at in the show, Steve. Do we got another commercial break? We're done, right? We're getting right into Ask Us Anything now. Correct?
That's right. We are. Yeah.
All right. Sorry. I just a lot of in and out of my truck and scripts and stuff, so I'm losing my place a little bit. As I said, great number on the stream. People are hanging in late here, so we really appreciate it. Fire us your comments, and we will get to them right now and Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. If you're looking to lower your monthly payments, shorten your loan term, or just want to understand your options, Maria Gallus with Maximum Mortgages definitely has you covered. She's got rates lowering when you could save thousands on your mortgage. Whether you are renewing, refinancing, or purchasing a new home or investment property, contact mortgagesbymaria.ca. All right, buds. How you doing, Steve?
I'm good. Thank you.
Now, you hopped in late on short notice because Zuby is on assignment for the Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast on special assignment. So it was a bit of a late. You were driving back from Vancouver or something tonight? Or
I flew back right at the puck drop. My flight took off from Vancouver. And and then, everything's delayed now. Landed and got home. It was fine. It was great.
Good, buddy. Well, happy to have you as always. What are the people saying tonight?
Okay, first of all, let's just give a shout out here. Original Puzar on the show said, today would have been my dad's 80th birthday. And his favorite player was Nurse. He loved his toughness. Dad would have been proud Darnell did so well on his birthday. Happy 80th, Dad. Dad always had my back. I believe his name's Jerry Cooper. So big shout out to Jerry Cooper. And thanks for that, Original Puzar.
Yeah, I love that, buddy. And condolences. I, too, have lost my dad. It sucks. But condolences. And that's a great birthday message.
Joyce Wong coming into us from Hong Kong. She says, I'm finally able to catch this live.
Wow.
Great game by the Oil. Really defensively sound, and Skinner was a beast. So, yeah, welcome, Joyce.
That's awesome, Struds. Hong Kong, man.
Love it.
That's fantastic. Welcome, Joyce. Happy to have you.
All right, Avi Hoffman saying, once Evander Kane is back, the forward depth is wild. Jeff Skinner's playing all right on the third line. Could be his spot. So what do you guys think? What's going to happen if Kane were to come back early?
Yeah. Well, today the coach, I heard his audio said that, there'll be nothing for at least a month with Kane. So, that takes us into the new year, which is not a big surprise. And I am interested to see how it shakes out. That second line, still is in flux, without Arvidsson there. And then if that happens, what does that look like? Do they move Henrique? Change his line mates a little bit? Like, there's a lot in flux. Like, could you see a Kane, Skinner, Henrique third line? Pretty good line of three good veterans, right?
Yeah.
That's assuming everyone's healthy.
So then you're Connor Brown down on your fourth line. One of the things that I think we'll see, we'll track him in the AHL and see how he's doing. But Noah Philp, like Struds, I could see them waiting until, January, even maybe mid-February. Bring him up after a bunch of time in the American League and give him like 3 weeks of games just to see how he looks. And then figure out if you're set at that position by the trade deadline, right? Figure out, okay, are you comfortable between him and Derek Ryan? You've got the fourth line center position on lock. Because if Phil doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it at a high level this year, that's okay. We all get it. Then fourth line center is on their list, in my opinion. I don't think you hit the playoffs just with Derek Ryan there. And a lack of depth at the center ice position, in your bottom six. I don't think that's a good play.
No, I'd agree. But if Philp can come in and at least platoon in that spot.
Yep.
And those other top nine, that's a pretty good, those are pretty top nine. Paul Colson's in the top. He's on the second spot then, right? That's And it's been up and down for Philp a little bit in the American Hockey League. It's not going to be a straight line for him. So let's see how he does through the rest of this month and into January.
Okay, you guys kind of stole my next one anyway. But so CK Pond says when the Oilers are in their own zone, Ryan came in, Nuge went off. Ryan was taking those draws and winning them. He's not sure he gets waived since he's so good at taking those draws. And then Tyler chimed in and said Philp wins draws and he's faster than Ryan. There's way more upside. Just the importance of the faceoffs.
And Ryan was 5-1 in the faceoffs tonight, right? In 6 minutes of ice time. So I don't think I don't see him being waived. I don't see him getting pushed out. I think Ryan will be here through the year.
Yeah. We don't talk about him a lot on this show, do we? Like, we don't spend, he's been quiet. His contributions have been subtle. He's had good nights in the faceoff circle. He's been, but I do think, Struds, it's not an ideal setup for him. I don't think he should be an every night guy. And he has to be an every night guy on this roster. But, it's okay if he's not an every single night guy for me. And the thing about Ryan is, like, he's an NHL player, but if he gets nicked up, I think it's like he's right on the line. He doesn't have a lot of space to play through injury and have his game fall off a little bit. He needs to be healthy and he needs to be fresh. And I think he's really usable and good when he is. But the design isn't for him to be an every night guy.
Yeah, well, he is now, right? That's the reality of what they got going on. I guess they could dress 7D man one night and give him a night off. But God, I hate 7 defensemen. But
yeah, I know. He's killing it in the face-off circle. He's killing it.
Yeah, and he's very smart. And people, the value on smart, I don't believe is as high for the fans as it is for the team. They like and they appreciate smart hockey players, and that's what he is.
Okay, Jeff Moss talking about Skinner says Stu Skinner had great numbers tonight. How much of his play is the result of the improved team defensive play in front of him? Early on, the team was so sloppy and unpredictable in front of him. What do you think, Schauger?
Yeah, I think that's right. I'll take this. I do think I could see that is a bit fair, but I think there were goals they were squeaking through that he'd like to have back. So what comes first? The better defensive player, him making some saves. I do think that goalies appreciate when they understand and know kind of predictable where the shots are coming from. Doesn't mean they're going to save them all, but they're protecting them because they instead of scrambling and everything just a gong show in front of them. So I think the two are both there, but I do think that Skinner is making more consistent saves now that are expected, Schauger.
Yeah, I agree. I think I can't remember who it was, so I don't want to credit it to the wrong goalie. It was Marty Baron or Noodles or anyway. The point that they made, similar to what you just said, is that Stuart Skinner's an excellent goaltender when there is structure in front of him. He's big guy. He's positional when he's in good position. When you start having to get him going east-west all over the place because you're not sound defensively, he's not necessarily a guy that's going to thrive in that environment. So when you play solid D, Skinner is going to really be in the zone. So I'm not a goaltending expert by any stretch, but I just see lots of confidence. But I mean, something as simple as Darnell Nurse playing some of the best hockey he's played in years in front of him for 20 plus minutes a night, just having that level of increased quality in front of you from one player, that's going to make a difference for a goalie. Something, just one guy's major uptick like that.
Okay, we were talking about icing. The stream was talking about icing for a while there, and Avi Hoffman chimed in and said, icing call isn't the worst if you're stuck. And I'm just curious, Struds, what your opinion is on that. If you're really stuck in your own zone, how you feel about people taking icing calls.
Yeah, it does calm things down. It gives you a second to reset. That's for sure. I guess my concern is that if you have an opportunity to make a play and you just turn and ice it down, that's where I get frustrated. If you have an opportunity, if there's no opportunity to make a play and you're just drowning, just fire it down and that's fine. But when I lose is when you see a chance to make a play and the guy doesn't have the poise to take it and make that play.
Yeah.
Okay, some talk about Arvidsson in the playoffs, and the Deutschland Dangler says Arvidsson is always a pain in the ass to play against in the playoffs. If he can be healthy, and that's a big if, he'll be very effective in the playoffs. Thought on the different role that he's going to play.
Yeah, Struts, what do you think, buddy? Like, we've seen him in the playoffs lots. I mean, the Oilers playing this team every year. Take him and drop him on the other side. Take Foegele out. Are they better off from what we have seen so far? It's tough. It's not a great sample size so far for Arvidsson as an Oiler.
Yeah, you have to go back. You have to look at his whole career. And I would say yes. Yes, I think he is. I think he's a headier player than Foegele. Fogel's a beast. He's big. He's fast. He shoots the puck he's got a cannon. But he's very north-south, where I think Arvidsson, when going, will hopefully supply some of what Leon likes, which is a guy that he can play with and actually make plays with.
I think Arvidsson is more consistent in the tenacity in his game. For me, it comes and goes a little bit too much with Foegele, although, he's pretty good in the playoffs, but or at least was. But I just think you get the same thing from Arvidsson most nights. I'd like to see more offense, but I like the tenacity in Arvidsson every single night. Let's go 2 more, Steve.
Okay, perfect. Machine Gun Yanmark says, if Nurse wasn't in this lineup, who would do anything in that Boston game for the Oilers when they started running around?
Well, Corey Perry, Podkolzin. I think Kulak can fight if the need arises.
Huh?
He's fought before. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably it. But I mean, Kane, when Kane comes back, like Kane and Nurse are fairly significant, fighters, guys, in this league.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well respected, feared by the middleweights through the league, right? Like they would be guys that a lot of guys wouldn't want to have to tangle with. I mean, I think it would be good if the Oilers had somebody else that could take care of a little bit of that business, whether, like Darnell would step in here and there when he had to. Corey Perry can do it.
But where's this guy going to play? Like up front, let's say they get this player.
Yeah.
Where's he playing? There's nowhere for him to play.
Well, I mean, I think it would be good if whatever you're adding, maybe just have it be a tool that a person has. Like, don't bring in another guy who just would never even consider it, or doesn't have the ability to function in that way in any way, shape, or form.
No,
I'm not saying I'm not saying that you base the player specifically on that, but let's say your number 4 or 5 defenseman that you're going to get. If he's got that tool in his wheelhouse as well, that's a good thing, because you don't want the way Darnell Nurse is playing right now. You do not want him having to handle this kind of business. You want no part in him risking injury and having to deal with that stuff. So, yeah, I think they're short a guy, and I'd be surprised if they didn't address it in some way. Someone who at least has that tool in his belt.
Okay, fun one to end things off with here. Starting over at 61 says, with the NHL doing so well financially, the price of an expansion team is going to be around $2 billion. Where would you two like to see 2 new teams?
Ooh. Okay, Struds, you go first. You've run the hard miles in the league. Where do you think would be great for them to be?
Oh, man. I just don't understand Atlanta. Like, I just, that one makes no sense to me at all. So I know where I don't want it is Atlanta. Although it's a great city. Really liked it there. Toured CNN. You know what? I'd love to see another one come to Canada. I don't know.
Another Toronto area team?
I don't know. I don't know if I can take that much more.
You'd be on overdrive every day if there were 2 Toronto teams, buddy.
You'd
be a made man.
Yeah. You know what? The romantic in me says Quebec City. I'd love to see. It probably is unlikely. Although is it any smaller than Winnipeg?
Yeah. I'm kind of with you. Like Atlanta, I've covered lots of hockey there. I've been there it doesn't really feel like it's been an awesome fit. I would love for the NHL to be in Phoenix. Like, I would love for them to be in the Phoenix Scottsdale area with the right ownership. That is a massive media market, and in the right circumstances, in the right building and all of that, like, just have it be the proper fit. But I'm with you, Struds. I'll go. Let's drop 2 into Canada, 1 in the Toronto area and 1 into Quebec. Why not? Hey, it throws all the conferences out of whack, but why not?
Who cares? But with Arizona, I need a break. I need a break. It's been so bad there for so long. Was it ever
what if
good?
It didn't have to be. What if it was just everything was different? How much of that was about ownership?
I heard that so many times. No, this owner's going to do it. This is the one. This rink's going to do it. Like, it's so bad there. It was so bad. I need a break. I need a break from that relationship. I don't want to think about it. I just can't even imagine going back there.
Let's drop 1 into the Yellowstone Valley. I like that. Where's that, Montana?
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. That was Asking Us Anything, brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. We wrap our show tonight with our play of the day, brought to you by Gallery Dental.
Sorry, Schauger.
Oh, I almost did it.
You almost did it. We are going to close the poll, the DeBoer's poll. So the question once again was
all over it.
Who will the Oilers' second pairing be at playoff time? So first of all, we had a lot of respondents. We had over 400 people voting tonight, 417 in total, and very, very close for the top 2 answers. So Nurse and Kulak won at 47%. Number 2 was Nurse with a new guy at 44%. And then it went way down, just 5% for Nurse and Emberson. And then other was just 3%.
So, you know what? That Nurse Kulak is higher than I thought it would be, Struds.
Yeah, me too. I think Kulak's very likable. He's a very likable guy, and now he's playing at such a high level. There's a lot of momentum behind him.
Yeah, I like it. That was our YouTube poll brought to you by DeBoers. Nice catch there, Steve-O. Good job, my friend. And now we'll wrap the show with our play of the day brought to you by Gallery Dental. From air polisher cleanings to advanced treatments, Gallery Dental offers a full range of services designed to keep your smile healthy. Their experienced team provides personalized care with the latest technology, making sure you get the best treatment possible. Contact Gallery Dental, YEG.com is their website. Struds, what are we giving the nod to today, bud?
Yeah, as someone who really flourished in the shootout world, I always like to see when other people do a good job. And tonight, Alexander Barkov of the Florida Panthers had an incredible move. I'll try to describe. He was coming down the left side. He's a left shot. And he faked like he was going to do the American League where he went through his legs. Yeah. The netminder bid on it. Crazy. He throws it back, pulls it back out, and just hammers it a backhand into the wide open net. It was so good. And I've never seen anyone try this move before. So where the fake in between the legs. It was beautiful. Thing of beauty.
All right, great stuff. Honorable mention to Austin Matthews, by the way, who ended up with an overtime winner with a guy draped all over his back. Yeah. Scored a really nice goal. Austin Matthews did to give the Leafs the win on this night. That was our play of the day, brought to you by Gallery Dental. Saber Cove chimes in and says, I have a high appreciation for the carpentry work on Steve's bedroom door.
I hope people don't think
to another.
I hope people don't. I hope people don't think I'm currently in my
in your bedroom.
In my bedroom, because I'm certainly not.
Yeah, that's what the wife loves, is podcasting in the bedroom at 11 Pacific time.
I don't know how to show it.
Stephen Petruck says play of the day should have been Schauger sleeping in. Not so much me sleeping in as Zuby calling me to wake me up and recording it and then putting it on a national broadcast. So, Zuby, that will not be soon forgotten, my friend.
Well done.
Thanks, Struds. Good job tonight, buddy.
Yeah, likewise, guys. Talk to you Thursday.
Steve, thank you kindly, my friend. Great job stepping in.
You bet, boys.
Thanks to all of you. What an awesome pod. So many people joining us on the live stream. Lots of great comments. We appreciate it. We love you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta. Oilers off day tomorrow. They're in the air. And then how big is that game going to be in a couple of nights? Talk about a tester against the Minnesota Wild. A hell of a good team this year. So it's going to be a gooder. And we will drop a pod as soon as that one is done. We'll talk then. Have a good night, everybody.